Good morning, Riley Brannon here. Well, it's morning for me. You may not be watching it in the morning time, um, but here we are with another playlist video of a man and his Bible. Just a man and his Bible. I'm dressed in my work attire, about to go to work, and I thought I would go ahead and make this video real quick. I'm going over Matthew chapter 2, and as I'm going over this, it's amazing how this all works out. When you listen to God, He just lines up everything in sync. And so this chapter is not only going to serve to, it's not on, I'm not only going to read it here for this video. The stuff is being drawn out of this chapter as I read over it, as I study it, as I pray over it and meditate over it. And I'm going to use in other areas of my ministry. Especially this morning, I got a Bible study with the men at work, and the Lord's sharing with me some stuff. I'm not going to preach or exposit a whole lot through this chapter. As I said in the beginning of these videos, I just want to read to you the scriptures and let the scriptures speak to you. I will stop and give a few references here and there, but for the most part, we're just going to read through this Bible, and we're on Matthew chapter 2. So Matthew chapter 2. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. That's pretty significant. This time of year is to worship Christ. Excuse me. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all of Jerusalem was with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet. We have a quote here from Micah chapter 5, verse 2. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor or ruler, that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. When you have found him, bring me a word again, that I may come and worship him also. A lot of people say they want to worship Christ in word only. We have to worship Christ in word and in deed. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced and were exceeding great with, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. This is also a time of year for great joy. Unfortunately, this is a time of year where there's much depression, suicidal thoughts, and sadness. And I believe it all comes because we don't keep our eyes on Jesus in this season. We got our eyes on every other dribble of the world. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, and presented unto him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh, and being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee a word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I have called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, would not be comforted, because they are not. And verse 19 says here, "But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeareth in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and he came into the land of Israel. But when he had heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither. Notwithstanding, being warned of God in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. So, when you read that chapter, there's one big revelation you get out of that, and that's that God's plan of redemption is going to go forward no matter what happens. It doesn't matter if men rise up and try to hinder it, devils try to rise up and hinder God's plan, it won't be hindered. Now there is a truth in the scriptures that is hard to discern, and that is the truth that God's in control, yet man still has the capacity to make choices and hinder his own life and hinder the lives around him to a degree. But I promise you, you'll never hinder the plan of redemption. God is in control of that, and God's going to move that forward regardless of what goes on in the earth. So that should be a comfort to us in a day where the world is turbulent, where times are uncertain, gas prices are up, inflation is up, food prices are up. We can have comfort in knowing that the Bible tells us those that dwell in the shelter of the Almighty, or the shadow of the Almighty, will have protection, they'll have help, and they'll have God's hands upon their life. You notice Mary and Joseph, all the killing that was going on in that chapter by Herod didn't touch Mary, didn't touch Joseph, and it didn't touch the baby Jesus, because they were close to God. The Bible tells us that if we stay close to God, God's hand will be upon us. He will guide us, He will lead us, and He'll keep us from the hour of testing and trial. So God bless you, and may God's hand be upon you.